Change of pace. Just a little something about my writing. The first one is edited, but the second and the third, I don't like to edit my writing. I enjoy it raw as it comes through in the moment. So I hope you all enjoy it. The first piece is called Mud. Her eyes are the color of the glacier that I walked on in Alaska, offering adventure, beckoning danger. Her skin feels softer and tastes sweeter than fresh whipped cream skimming the lips. The door to her soul is one you might find in an abandoned castle, tarnished and old yet possessing the strength of steel. Her voice is like something out of a book, something that makes you feel 10 sorts of ways all at once. Lying is telling a man that you love him, and then fantasizing about a woman. Lying is imagining having someone else. When we met, he made me love the night because that was the time that we could be close. The care with which his fingers painted my body led me to believe that I was like a precious statue to him, and the world stood as my museum. I began to love my eggs over medium, even though in the past I had only enjoyed them scrambled. I began to accept throwing on a t-shirt and just a whisper of makeup, because it meant that the time I saved getting ready I could spend on him. I grew to love the heat of my own hands because it reminded me of his. I came to like the screeching and the rumbling of his '93 Ford pickup. I even admired the zip ties and the duct tape that held his passenger side mirror to his frame because it meant that he was getting his life together. But suddenly, his home moved to my home, and there was nothing new to love. So my heart grew bored, and my mind accepted that boredom. I realized that I loved the freshness of my own air. I loved enjoying sleeping with space between us so that there was no stubble poking me in sensitive places and no skin pervading the air in which I breathed. I grew to love brushing my teeth because it meant that he couldn't press his sticky lips to mine. I began to love doing the dishes and sweeping the floors because it meant that I didn't have to feel his constant touch. I began to hate that I felt married. I began to hate that my schedule was not my own anymore. I began to hate close proximities and the heat of my own hands. I began to loathe the darkness because it held the chance to be captured. And I began to hate the government even more because it meant they had not provided enough education for him to grow a future, for him to have a good future, one that he is so much more than capable of. And I grew jealous of the girls whose men got chances, whose men had a path that were laid out and determined and able to take. I became jealous of the clean and the shiny when I used to hold dirt and air higher in value. I continued to think, and I continued to worry. Finally, I decided to choose. So this